Hey everybody, Matt Michaels here on the Vegas Badboyz of podcasting with Rob Bossoleri and Sin City Steve. And it is a new year, gentlemen. Happy 2025. Any words of wisdom off the top of your heads?
Leave your garden hoses running all the time.
Wow. Without any depends on?
No, it depends. We free ball in the year 2025.
Well played.
Well, then I guess we'll have to free ball it into the new year here.
And by the way, Matt Michaels busted his ass through the power of his effort and AI, came up with some beautiful new music and this amazing 8-bit background, which I actually do like. And I complain about everything. So you did a very good job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And now those pleasantries are out of the way. So let's get into a little wrestling and start off with Raw debuting live on Netflix this past Monday. Did the celebration feel of the Raw launch on Netflix deliver? Steve, you haven't watched Raw in about 27 years.
Might as well be.
Yeah, did it deliver for you?
So they did an amazing job of making it feel like a massive event. Obviously, everything from the red carpet to using the different drones and all of the different camera angles and gimmicks that they tried with production. I think that they did an extraordinary job for, quite honestly, redefining what professional wrestling is and what it can be. It ultimately, I think that, of course, I'm going to nitpick with the amount of in-ring time, but obviously they are bringing in casual fans with this first episode. So right. of course, there'll be those people that watch and they'll be like, oh, well, it was a 3-hour show. There was only about an hour of wrestling. And I am one of those people that I normally slam that shit. But I do have to realize that they are launching obviously into the Netflix era. So they're going to be getting a lot of extra eyes that were not previously on them. So they have to do more in the way of exposition, character building, and building those characters for the masses that, the main draw for WWE is always, make people care about the characters, and the in-ring product is, dare I say, almost secondary to the drama. And you have to almost dedicate an entire episode of strictly exposition. If you'll notice, they didn't have any heels go over. They had all baby faces go over. So I think across the board, they accomplished everything that they were setting out to do. They are marketing professional wrestling to a completely different demographic and a bunch of new eyes. So good for WWE and good for the business as a whole.
Rob, what about you, man? How did you feel that it was for you personally?
I will first of all say the product was better than the numbers that were represented, because they did under 700,000 viewers. It was like 694 around there, 684.
What are you talking about? That's not. I'm 2.5 million live views in the United States, Rob.
On Netflix? No.
Yes. Yes. You didn't get that article that I sent you from Variety and Hollywood Reporter.
I apologize. I apologize for mistake, because I sent you an article.
Right, which was not confirmed because those numbers were actually coming, what turns out to be just from, I think it's Sony's streaming service or something like that.
Yeah.
So basically,
that's my fault.
Yeah, that's okay. They did 2.5 over 2.5 million views streaming live and 5 million worldwide.
Oh shit. Well, fuck me. What I was going to say was the product did what it needed to do, and they were right to start with the Roman Reigns match. You had to get that match out of the way. You do not want to drag that out, because you risk losing people as the night goes on trying to build up to that. So it was smart to start off with that. It was smart to not have a bunch of run-ins in that finish. In that very well, there were run-ins. Yes, you had your.
I was like, what? Did we watch the same shit?
No, but in that very end, it was just him with the spear.
Yeah.
It wasn't 9 people doing a finisher on a guy. It was just Roman Reigns with the spear, right. Which is what you needed. And then The Rock to come out to present the Ulafala. Perfect. It had all of the elements it needed to have. Liv Morgan losing, good. Good. Now you have the belt back on Rhea Bloody Ripley. It's what you needed to have. Everyone was satiated. You've got all the elements that you needed to have. It didn't need to have a bunch of wrestling matches. It is there to establish itself. It was there to have an appearance. Now, because they shot this in the place which they did, the question then becomes, can you replicate that every Monday night with every arena?
That'll be the test.
Well, I mean,
that place was special. Even the lighting in the seats and everything was
dope.
That was complementing what was happening in ring show. You can't do that everywhere, but I would give this an A out of an A+.
There you go. All right. So we're, it's the general feel. It's the general celebration. Again, here's the one thing to keep in mind. 4 matches. Yes, 4 matches. Oh, that's not a lot. But think about it. Those 4 matches were all pay-per-view matches, meaning that the storylines and everything that were built up were on the level of pay-per-view. If you put 2 more matches or 3 more matches on that card, that's a PLE, right? So the matches they presented within the celebration format did what it had to do, and it was an advertisement.
And there was one thing big that happened that I was complaining about going into this. I said they better not edit the freaking crowd. And what did The Rock do? He started cursing and he pointed to Ted Sarandos and he goes, if you edit the freaking Rock, we're going to have a goddamn problem. I went, yes. Because if it's now in the sense, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but
I love the fact that this is the most thing that concerns you.
No, and it does concern me.
Hearing the fans
it does concern me. No, and it should concern people because I'm not watching something that I could see on basic cable anymore. And what was taken out of wrestling was something stripped from the Attitude Era, which was the most raw part of Raw, which these guys were talking. Some of their promos were shoots, some of their promos they were cursing. The crowd is not predictable. I can't account for the crowd. So what did they do? They scrubbed the shit out of it and they edited out the live crowd. And that is infuriating because if I can't hear the crowd, I, as a person sitting at home, I am removed out of the product. So the fact that they did not edit that is part of this experience. Love it. That is what brought it up that notch. It is. If you're going to edit the crowd, I would have gave up in the first 10 minutes if they edited out the crowd. That would have been the end of it. And when Rock said that to Ted Sarandos and said, hey, Mr. Netflix, don't screw with the show, you got my thumbs up. It's about the feeling more than anything else.
Yeah, and Maria here says the matches were good, but too much filler for a 3-hour.
It's the first show.
But yeah, and that's it. It's the first show. It's an advertisement. It's an infomercial for Netflix and WWE. And come this Monday night, you're going to get your regular Raw. The other thing that people complained about is the fact that, oh my God, there's commercials on Netflix.
No shit.
Well, you still got to fill the time in between matches. They have to change the sets. If there's blood in the ring, you have to change different things. You have to.
You also have to pay. Mm-hmm. You know, your advertisers need to put money into the product. So yeah, that's and with any live event outside of what is a pay-per-view deemed event, that's going to be on Netflix. So if they end up getting baseball or football or something on their on their network, there's going to be commercials. It's just part of what you have to do with live programming because so many eyes go live. That's how advertisers make their money nowadays, as opposed to DVR, and you can go right through them. So that just gives you a little taste there. Now, you're talking about the crowd. Good transition, Rob, because Hulk Hogan gets booed out of the building on Raw. Now, very interesting with this. You got,
there was no surprise that was going to happen.
No, not at all.
But what is forgotten is that when the music hit, huge pop.
Huge pop.
When he started talking, that's when the booing started. So now here's the thing. I'm gonna just go straight for the things that I saw right away, and that was one. A lot of it was based on his racism remarks in the past. Okay, a lot of the comments that I saw, the people who commented on it.
I wouldn't want my daughter dating one brother.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be forgotten.
What about half of one, Rob?
Jesus.
Would you date his daughter?
You, and I definitely screwed Brooke.
But there was that sentiment to it, and then there was the other side, and that was the idea that because he supported Trump, that this was motivated by the liberals in LA, which could be part of it as well, which is very interesting.
What kind of a reaction did the Undertaker get? Remind me again.
Exactly, which is very interesting because the Undertaker
and they're exactly, yeah.
The Undertaker, did he present himself at the Trump rally?
Present himself? Was it like
was he on the his little? Was he presented on the Trump rally? Was he?
So he wasn't part of a rally, but he did do a promotional thing with Glenn Jacobs as well. So they did something with Donald Trump.
Glenn Jacobs, Kane, has not been abashed about being Republican. He's been on Fox Business. The other one who's
he's a
Republican.
He's an elected mayor.
yes, for Knox, Tennessee. Yeah. The other guy is Dolph Ziggler. Nick Nemeth is I'm fairly certain he's Republican. There's a bunch of people. They've got Tyrus is on Fox News. So that's fine. I think with Hogan, the problem is you're just spitballing anything to try to make yourself relevant again. And showing yourself, ripping off your shirt and then the racist comments and the sex tapes and all this, it's sad. And then you tie yourself to Trump and you try to make yourself get like another 5 minutes off that, and he didn't get anything off that. And these polarizing times.
Wait, whoa. The argument is he did get a lot off of that.
I in the circles I've seen, he got laughed at because of that.
On the other hand, you got to remember
what I'm saying is
it's of the story.
You split your crowd, you split your support down the middle. If the people are that conservative and they're behind that, that's fine. But you cannot. If I'm his agent, and I said, all right, you have a problem with your image. If you go down the Trump rally, you might take half of the people and they'll like you even more. And the other half that were on the fence about you, you're going to lose them even further. I would have said that to him immediately because I deal with comedy, deal with all that stuff. And I look at that. I'm not trying to make it political, but you can do this the way that Glenn Jacobs and Mark did it. They did smart. They were like, hey, we're going to do this. We're not going to be so outward about it. We're going to be kind of behind the scenes. One guy, he's a mayor, but he didn't go out.
Those guys are not making the money Hogan is.
Yeah, but they don't have their image isn't in the shitter. Their image isn't in the shitter. So tethering yourself to Trump didn't help you.
Go ahead, Steve.
At the end of the day, this is strictly about the racism. This is not about the politics. Don't let any of that stuff.
I'm saying that's a part of it. I'm saying it's a part of it.
And what I'm saying also though is finally we can make a correlation. If somebody supports a particular political candidate, it does not automatically make them into a racist. That's something that has to be specific. I know, but there are segments of the audience that view the correlation. So that's what I'm saying is obviously one does not automatically equal another.
No, but one is also embraced by the other. So there's that also, it's a whole circle of things. The honest answer is this: the shirt was one of the biggest selling shirts this week.
The beer shirt?
Beer. The whole thing he was there for was
Right.
the beer partnership with them. He now is going to get massive distribution in terms of that beer being available at WWE events for people to enjoy. So, the thing is that regardless of what you think of him and what he's done to deserve that, the honest answer is
it was
that
so profitable.
He's still profitable, even though the brand, as you said, is hurt. And it's not hurt in various circles, people who can put aside racism, politics, whatever, and just embrace him because he was a childhood hero or something like that. And then good point here. Maria says Hogan is in the same boat that Ric Flair is.
I agree with that. I was just about to say that.
Agreed completely.
But they're also in the same boat in the sense of they are both in their 70s, and at this point, they are using their brand to make money at the tail end of their life. So let
me ask you a question. Who do you think in this part of their life has done more to market themselves positively and financially, Hogan or Flair?
The problem,
when I think of Ric Flair, I don't think of any controversy on the back end. Anything with Ric Flair was maybe earlier years. He's had behind the scenes problems with his different wives and this and that. Unfortunately, he was a victim in a lot of those.
Yeah, no, but Flair, remember, Flair has, within recent years, been, he had his whole thing go on just a little while back with a tip in the restaurant. And again, there were some undertones on that, which were questionable, unfortunately, both of them have not had the cleanest of reputations, but at the same time, again, these are old men. Same with Vince McMahon, right? These are all old guys who, for years and years and years, got away with tons of shit. And as society is catching up with that, that's when these guys are now having to pay for their mess ups. So that is unfortunately what's going on, and that's their image. So
now, to be perfectly honest, if Ric Flair would have had a sex tape, I'm sure it would have been way more entertaining.
Yeah, shame. All right. So, Raw wrapped up the storyline there. Roman Reigns defeated Solo, and he's acknowledged by The Rock. Where does the Bloodline story go now, guys?
Well, I mean, that kind of put a button on it. I would think at this point, unless you introduce a new wrinkle with something that just happens out of nowhere. I mean, if anything, this seems like as if it is at least a postponement until they bring in something new.
Well,
if not a cease altogether.
There's a couple of things they can do, and we've mentioned the one guy before that is in the backgrounds, Talatonga, the third one. There's which you could have the three of them break off with Jacob Fatu, and they could go, hey, we still don't acknowledge Roman. We're not the three of us aren't Simone, but you join us, or you bring back Mr. Tsunami, and they form, and they form their own group of Polynesian wrestlers and call themselves whatever the hell they want.
Well, we already saw that on SmackDown that the three of them were causing a little havoc while Solo was nowhere to be found. So that might not be a far off prediction.
So that's a possibility. He has to acknowledge Roman Reigns as his tribal chief. So that's going to happen. That doesn't mean he's going to be loyal. He might screw him over. This could go. There's so many different ways this can go, which is why I really enjoyed this whole bloodline story, because they keep finding a way to keep it fresh. I can't believe I'm saying that, but this is one of the longest running things I've seen WWE do in forever. Am I wrong on that?
Nope.
And they've kept it relevant. I don't know. I don't know. I've said this before, and I will stand behind this, as silly as it sounds. She's given up the ones before. I don't know if she can do any long-term fighting against the men, but I would like to see Nia Jax get involved in some way, whether it be the Bloodline Women's Auxiliary League or just have her
the Bloodline Women's Auxiliary League. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah. They come out with a sash and shit, like patches. They sell Girl Scout cookies outside. Her and Naomi, you know. No, I would like to see her getting happy birthday to Jenny. Happy birthday. I would like to see her get involved in some way. I think she could do it. I think she could sell a few matches here and there. And right now she's not guaranteed. She wasn't guaranteed a title rematch. She had that, that fatal match, and then, fine. Have her go join some, iteration of the Bloodline, either side. Why not? Do something different if they're going to. She's not. They've acknowledged she's part of that family. That's the crazy far off thing. As far as the guys are concerned, you could take elements of that first Bloodline, split them in half on either show, and have them control the red and blue brand of the Bloodline. So have Jay and Jimmy go on one show, and have each of them be a representative, and see how that works out.
Yeah, this is an interesting thought. Maria threw out there. Naomi joins the Bloodline after we find out that she's the one who.
There you go.
That would work. That would work.
Steve, any quick thoughts on the Bloodline?
I mean, obviously, I did not watch SmackDown this week. So, unfortunately, I did not see exactly what you were talking about. But if that makes sense, yeah, I could easily see Jacob Fatu kind of usurping Solo and starting, kind of his tribe or whatever the situation might be. But, if you remember, when Jacob Fatu first came in, there was rumblings all over the internet about how Jacob Fatu needs to essentially usurp Solo anyway. So this could be something to where, the fans initially asked for it and they kind of let things play out. And now we possibly could see that maybe with the addition of a Tala Tonga. And you could pivot to Solo versus Jacob, and that would be where you debut Tala.
I was going to say Jacob Fatu is a way better wrestler than Solo Sikoa.
There you go. All right. The Rock, like we said, he acknowledged Roman Reigns. He returned to Raw and was on NXT for the first time ever. NXT has done incredible numbers because of that. What do we see in Rock playing a role into? Does anything happen in terms of leading up to possibly him wrestling at WrestleMania?
I mean, there was the rumor for a while that he was going to end up facing Cody, but the feeling that I got from that Rock promo on Raw was that he's not going to be able to come back and work as a heel. So if he does work a match at Mania, it's going to be as a babyface. And incidentally, completely off target or off topic, but I did love in the intro video package to Raw how they did mention specifically heel and face using more insider terms that people have been using for years anyway. But regardless, I think that Rock, he has to make an appearance. Whether or not he works a match, that's obviously going to be up in the air. But all I know is for the dollar value on those tickets, yeah, I would love to see a Rock match. I mean, shit. Give the people that are paying $30,000 give him a damn Rock match,
We
because
know
that everybody wants it
that match.
anyway.
We know somebody who deserves that match.
No shit.
Well, Rob, you paid $20,000 for your tickets. What do you feel? Do you want to see a Rock match?
All right, I'm gonna go a little into the weeds on this. Presentation is everything. Agreed? When somebody comes out in the ring and we have a certain expectation of as what they should look like. He came out in the ring with this white beard, 5 o'clock shadow bullshit. He seemed like he was phoning it in on both of those nights. It looked like Paul Levesque wrote his script up and just said, put the brand over, put Cody over, make everyone look good. And then he made fun of himself the next day. Oh, you Cody crybabies. And then the next day you go, why were you nice to him? So I liked it, but he also spent on 6 minutes on NXT talking about the clock. Oh, they're telling me I got 6 minutes left. Oh, you're telling me I got 3 minutes left. Oh, I got to say something. And I was looking at this going, this isn't the Rock I grew up with Attitude Era, where he would be able to cut a tight promo, get to a point, put somebody over. He didn't have to, big up the show. He was the damn show. He did get back to it by saying, enjoy the ride. The Rock is, bringing you on. I did like that, but this wasn't his, greatest work. And yet the funny thing is, what you keep reminding me is it doesn't matter if this is their greatest work. They come out, the people go, I remember this. And they drool over it. I'm a Howard Stern fan. If you listen to him, 30 years ago versus now he's an old freaking washed up guy in his 70s. But you still would rather hear him than most of the other crap out there. I would still rather see The Rock, do a shitty promo than 95% of what's on AEW. I would rather get The Rock shittiest than MJF's best. So that's the thing. I'm really harshly grading it. He did what he's supposed to do. He goes on to NXT. I watched NXT just for his promo, and now I might go, you know what? Maybe I want to watch NXT again. And then what do they do before that? They have this thing where, Obafemi wins and Julie wins, and Obafemi turns around, and then she's already on the stage with them, and confetti's going off, and they celebrated them both at the same time. And even though I felt it was a little overproduced, I went, you know what? Fuck it. It looked good. Everything about it looked good. The crowd was TNA size crowd. It wasn't like 20 people just like wrapped around the ring like they used to do Gold Era. I was into it. I was like, all right, you're slowly getting me to like NXT and look at it as something other than the B team. Okay. So that was good. He put a good shine on it.
We'll get there in a second. Don the Barber brought up wanting to see John Cena win the title and break Flair's record. There was a leaked script recently that shows John Cena winning the 2025 Rumble. And here we go. We've got Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Andrade, AJ Styles, Dirty Dom, Rey Mysterio, Trick Williams, Ludwig Kaiser, Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman, The Miz, Kofi, Karrion Kross, John Cena at number 15 as listed as the winner. Braun Breaker, Chad Gable, Sheamus, Logan Paul, Finn Balor, LA Knight, Nakamura, Carmella Hayes, Jey Uso, let's see,
Escobar,
McIntyre, Jimmy Uso, Priest, Solo, Reigns, and The Rock as the runner-up. So apparently,
and also as a bonus entrant.
Right, number
the
31.
31st.
Right.
Interesting.
So obviously that looks hella fucking awful in terms of them putting that together. Whoever threw that up. But what do you guys
That has to be a swerve.
Yeah. Well,
it's got to be a misdirect.
We can only hope.
Swerve's not in it. Swerve's not in it.
Well, there's no funny guys in there. In other words, there's no throwback guys. There's no entertaining guys. There's none of that.
So I don't know if we're going to see. We might see one or two surprises, but there isn't room. Let's face it. I mean, just reading that list, there's a couple names that you could possibly take off that list.
Say his name and he appears.
Well, see, that's what we're talking about, is the fact that there's going to be at least one or two of those in there. There has to be. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you even saw either a Matt or a Jeff Hardy or something like that, you know. So it's going to be interesting, but with that being leaked, or, you know, quote unquote leaked, and Cena basically putting the intentions out there that he will wrestle in the Rumble. Do we see Cena as the winner, as a path to go on to wrestle for the championship? I know you kind of mentioned it earlier about it, Gunther. So what do you think?
He has to. But he also has to lose. I think if you give him the title and you screw Ric Flair, whatever, if you give him that title knowing that he's going to be gone at the end of the year anyway, then you're already corralling the storyline off. You're already ending it before it begins. So I don't like that idea, because they kind of did that with Bryan Danielson in AEW. It's like, oh yeah, this guy needs neck surgery, but he's champion now. Didn't you already say he has terminal neck surgery that he needs to get fixed? But you just made him champion. How many fucking defenses are you going to get out of this guy? Oh, he's out next week. Oh, Jesus Christ. So you got John Cena, who doesn't need to be there. He doesn't need it. It's just, you know, a nice little thing to do. Build up the hype. You have him win a match, because he says, I haven't won a match in 2,000 days. Yeah. So this is a big thing for him to win. Great. Then the drama will be how he loses at WrestleMania. That's it.
Okay.
You know, and maybe if the brain cells that are damaged in Cody Rhodes, since he ain't fucking dealing with no cancer kids, fucking have him go heel for once in his goddamn fucking life, you stupid shit.
You don't have to. Again, you don't have to go heel versus
running.
Heel. You could go heel. You could go face versus face. That's totally fine. So I mean, that's a possibility. But you could also see, you know, Mama Rhodes, you know, and The Rock, you know, that whole thing.
Mama Rhodes on smoking a cigarette. You know, The Rock brought her down to Poontang Pie Land.
Yeah, Mama Rhodes on a forklift match.
Shit.
Let's bring back the Russo era. Steve, your quick thoughts on Cena potentially wrestling for the championship at WrestleMania.
I mean, realistically, that was the feel that I got from that promo, is that, yes, obviously we saw the leak before this episode of Raw, and then obviously he comes out, he cuts this promo, and instantly I'm like, okay, so they're setting this up right now. I think that this is what they're going to do. I could easily see John Cena winning the Royal Rumble, going to WrestleMania, and actually winning the championship. One thing that I think is very vital that we consider is this is a new era. I know that was something that's been mentioned numerous times just in the show, but you have to think WWE is going to do whatever is commercially viable more than ever. Okay. So conventional wisdom in some cases be damned. Whatever is going to draw the biggest box office, that's what they're going to do. John Cena wrestling in his last WrestleMania for the championship, and you put the title on him there. And then let's be real. You could even, toward the end of the year, you could have the stipulation thrown out there that the next match he loses is his last. So you could build that fear of loss in to your audience. Oh, well, you know, I got to go watch I have to watch this show, or I have to go to the arena and see this shit live, because I don't know if this is going to be the last match that John Cena is ever going to do. That kind of a thing. So I mean, you have a built-in storyline right there. So that's something that they could easily do. And, you know, I think that it would make more sense if he were to wrestle, you know, a heel in whatever match he chooses at Mania. But I genuinely think that it will end up being John Cena versus Cody for that championship at WrestleMania. So
DJ cut you off there. Sorry, bro.
Cut me off, bro.
But that brings me to this next thing. CM Punk defeats Seth Rollins, dedicates the match to Chris Bay afterwards, which is an amazing thing, a very touching thing for all of us here in Las Vegas. And the reason we bring this up right now is because I could see the possibility of maybe we see Cena win the title at Elimination Chamber and then drop it to Punk at WrestleMania. Think outside of the box. Cena doesn't have to win the Rumble to actually win the championship and defend it at WrestleMania. He also doesn't have to win the Rumble at all to participate in WrestleMania. So I don't know if he needs that title rub at all. But they got 2 championships as well. That's the other thing we're kind of missing here. But with CM Punk and Seth tearing down the house, where does that lead these two to the next? Do we see the next step right now on Raw this coming Monday to basically set up a match at the Rumble?
One name, Paul Heyman. There is still that favor in the air,
right? And
we don't know how that's going to manifest and how it's going to, because WWE is not going to forget something like that. They're not going to. Right. They're not going to AEW this and just drop that whole thing cold turkey. No, it's going to show up some way, which is definitely going to mean a title shot opportunity. Yep. I don't see anybody in that camp going after Gunther's title. He might, but this is all circling around the title that Reigns lost to Cody. Agreed? So now it becomes a race to see who gets there. And also Cena is not going to go after Gunther's title. The only one who might go after Gunther's title again is Seth Rollins. Because
although Gunther is starting to be positioned as a face. So we might see, dare I say, and a lot of people are going to fucking hate this, Logan fucking Paul versus Gunther.
Which would be entertaining, though.
That would be amazing.
You have America versus Austria, or he'll say Germany, which will make it even more insulting. You'll have the culture clash. The egos are off the charts on both of them. Gunther needs to find a way to keep that same edge that he has as a heel and still find a way to stay as a face. Because when he's a face and when you hear him in interviews, he's very humble, very peaceful and calm and just syrupy. And then as a fucking heel, he's just a smug dick. And that's what made The Rock great, because even as a heel, face heel, it didn't matter. He was the same smug piece of crap on the mic. If Gunther can tap into that and just direct it not at the audience, but at Logan Paul, and find some good catchphrases and insults at Logan's expense, you got something there.
Well, you also could very well see exactly what you said, Steve, and that is the capitalization on the absolute, attention it would bring if Logan Paul wins a world championship at WrestleMania.
Absolutely. I think that, this would make the most sense as well. I shudder to think of Logan Paul as a WrestleMania main eventer, but as I said in literally the last topic, we need to rethink how we approach WWE going forward, because conventional booking wisdom, be damned. It's all about making that money. But
he's Logan good Paul, in the ring, and he's good on the mic.
He's good in the ring, but keep in mind, they did make a point of showing you just how much of a social media following that guy had in the video package from Raw. So, of course, they're going to continue to play that up. They're going to play to that strength of that character. And that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever if at the end of WrestleMania, if he doesn't stand tall with a championship.
It'd be wonderful if the special guest referee was Mike Tyson. All right. So really quick here. Tiffy cashed in the Money in the Bank to become the women's champion. It's Tiffy time. Is this something that was needed to finally put a rest to it and go on and now allow her to finally have this title, especially going into potentially being a champion heading into WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that this was the right time to pull the trigger. It was obvious kind of how it was going to go down, but I did see, the clip of how everything went down with this. As I mentioned, I didn't catch SmackDown specifically the entire show, but I think that it was smart the way that they played this up. Obviously, I'm a fan of swerving here and there when it comes to
your show. He's on the other show.
I know. But no, like whenever you have a storyline beat and you think that it's going to go one way and it's completely the opposite, that's the type of shit that is great, because I don't like to have my intelligence insulted, and I don't like to just have all predictability. Having that anything can happen type of an atmosphere is great, especially with the Money in the Bank cash in.
They've been setting it up that she was going to take it off of Nia Jax.
Yep.
I don't know how many times, and I'm glad it did happen that way. Everything went down the way it was supposed to. She came out there, and her character has been fading in and out of confidence to just being a lackey. So now this is a great way for her to go to that next step and be as good as we all knew she could be. And now she's going, hey, it's Tiffy time. She's saying it with confidence. She's saying it with authority. Her moves in the ring are great. She's polished. It's the right time. It's the right time. Now, like I said earlier, now this puts pressure. You got to do something unique with Nia Jax, because you're wasting her if you don't find something good to do with her. And it's going to cause everyone else to step up. Unfortunately, I think Naomi's got the tag belt, yes, but unfortunately, the tag belt is almost like nothing. But we're talking about, Charlotte Flair coming back, maybe the man Becky Lynch. Yeah. So now that's going to put other people, it pushes everything further back then. Yep. So I don't know. You got to find something for all these people to do. You have the 2 lower belts now. Chelsea Green is putting some amazing shine on that and really making it relevant. Great job for her. Anybody else, I don't care. Right now, the number one woman out of all of them is Chelsea Green, because she's the most entertaining. And that's really what it comes down to, is who's going to be the most entertaining, and she can wrestle too. So
yep. Interesting thought here from Maria. Nia Jax versus Jordynne Grace at WrestleMania. Very interesting. Almost positive we'll see Jordynne Grace in the Rumble for sure this year. And speaking of,
he looks so high in that picture.
He was just paying attention to the actual show, and that's a screen grab. So go figure. All right. So we had a little return. AEW Kenny Omega defeated Gabe Kidd in his return match for the New Japan AEW show. All right. So Steve, my first question is, who fucking cares? Who the fuck is Gabe Kidd? Why the fuck does it fucking matter? Because all I saw was Gabe Kidd's knob getting polished, and I was wondering what fucking 2-bit place they dug this dude up from, even though apparently he is a New Japan guy.
Which is what I was about to do.
I couldn't hear half of what you were saying because Rob was laughing and cutting in. So
I'm sorry. Gabe Kidd, polish your knobs.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
Wait, is that it? Do we have the cleaner and the knob polisher?
That makes sense. But no, the thing is, so Gabe Kidd, he's 27 years old, and New Japan sees a huge, bright future for this guy. Okay. He was a part of the dojo class that featured Carl Fredericks, also Eddie Thorpe in NXT. And you've got Clark Connors, you've got a really good group of young talent for New Japan Pro Wrestling, which it's amazing that they put him into this position to go in there with Kenny Omega. Something that, a lot of people would argue, oh, well, this should have been a squash match. It should be like 5 minutes, just showcase Kenny. No, this was a 35-minute match, and it really showed that Gabe Kidd actually took a step up. Following the match, you had Hiroshi Tanahashi New Japan legend and the president of the company now, seated at ringside on commentary, crying like a child, just bawling his eyes out at the chemistry that these guys displayed. This, and yes, I will say it, the storytelling that they did in the realm of a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. They went about 35 minutes. It was a great match, and I can't say this enough. Welcome back, Kenny Omega. The wrestling world has missed you. Holy shit. I cannot wait to see what Kenny Omega brings in 2025. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Rob, what do you think about Kenny's setup this week in AEW then?
They yanked out 2 feet of intestines out of this guy.
Yep.
He comes in the ring with a dimple. He doesn't have any weird over-the-top scars. He addresses the crowd in advance and says, I'm not going to be wrestling in the same manner that you're accustomed to seeing me wrestle, but I'm going to do my best to work around that and be better than I ever was. He has a bloody match against Gabe Kidd, which is something that you can sell since you can cross-promote. So we go into this knowing, wow, this guy took some beating. That meant if I didn't see this match and I'm looking at the results of this match, this guy's still fighting at an extreme level. So love it. I love it. The presentation is, I know that I'm going to get this guy performing at a great level. I do not have to worry about him really losing any steam. He's still part of a shuffle, and unfortunately, with the Young Bucks, being, and I know we're jumping ahead, but the Young Bucks and him and all the other guys who are part of the Elite are going to have to come back and either resolve their story, hopefully, because AEW doesn't know how to do that, but resolve a story by which you had all of these different elements of what was supposed to be the founders of AEW and the Elite get together, resolve their shit with Moxley, and come together and pull a good story. But if the guy can come back and take a beating for 35 minutes against Gabe Kidd, that leads me to believe he's going to come back to AEW and not underperform.
Right.
So
okay.
Good.
And speaking of it, the Young Bucks are the new IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions in the biggest
Shirtless.
what the fuck, who fucking cares moment of the week. I mean, you could have listen, if you would have said almost any other tag team, it would have been like, yeah, that's cool, I get it. Holy fuck. What, I mean, who really seriously, like, who is fucking drinking these assholes Kool-Aid?
Shirtless as fuck.
Hey, so think about this though. Obviously, people gave them a lot of shit for wearing the shirts because they were out of shape and things like that. Obviously, with their time away, they were obviously in the gym. They were doing cardio. They looked good, and they dare I say looked like the Bucks of old, as opposed to being the old Bucks. American Bam Bam, shout out to you. But yeah, I did not see this coming at all. I honestly, I thought they wouldn't be involved in the finish whatsoever, just because it was a 3-way match. So United Empire and LIJ were in the match as well. I did not think that they would factor into the decision at all, and they were just going to be there kind of as a special attraction. And then when they won the fucking match, it was, again, I mentioned earlier, it's good to have surprises. This was one hell of a surprise. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And yes, more championship belts to parade around on AEW television. I know so many of our listening and viewing audience love that.
But it wasn't Nick Jackson that was out of shape. It was Matt Jackson.
It was Matt.
Right.
But Matt looked good.
He cleaned up.
Yeah.
He cleaned up.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll stay on this idea here. Hobbs won the men's casino gauntlet for the AEW World Championship opportunity, in which he's getting and basically is going to get shit canned right away, right? I mean, the match is happening this week. Am I correct?
And carnage, maximum carnage.
Maximum carnage.
It's like, hey, Will Hobbs, win this match, go against Moxley. Moxley will just defeat you, and we'll just fucking throw this match away. Right? Is that what's going to happen? Am I wrong?
Can I call it right now? Oh no, there's Wheeler Yuta. Oh no, there's Marina Shafir. Oh no, there's Claudio Castagnoli. Oh look, there's the bastard Pac. Oh God, they just nutshotted him over and over again. It's over. I can't believe this happened. Can you believe this, guys? This was one hell of a match, guys.
It's like a bukkake match. Is that nut shot after nut shot all over Will Hobbs? Jesus. What is going on with AEW?
But that's how predictable this is. And then after he loses, a bunch of people are going to pour in. Rated FTR is going to come in and save the day and blah, 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 blah.
Well, there you go, Rob. Can you indulge him?
You know, I'm watching this AEW, and there's nothing elite about them. Believe it. Believe it. The production values that we saw this week, I wrote, were tremendous. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. And I sent a picture of Tony Khan's house, and he goes, Donald, why are you sending me a picture of my house? And I said, I've got some Moab bombs, okay? Mother of all bombs. You're going to drop in your house if you give us one more shitty, predictable week and get Giovanni out of here. You're fired. Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Maria Harris says it should have been Jay White or Hangman to face Moxley, which is interesting.
It's the same results.
Well, and what's even more interesting is that you brought up Hangman, who now is wrestling Chris Daniels in a
Daniels
death match for no fucking reason.
No reason at all.
Oh my God.
And the way he cut his promo that made it sound like he was going to go on a face turn.
Yeah.
Like, did you pay attention to that promo? He's like, I solved all my problems. I solved all my problems and everything's behind me. By the way, you piece of shit who was my friend for many years. Like, what? Like, you did a heel turn within a face promo. What the fuck kind of shitty writing is this?
And it's literally like, I know, Rob, you said you'd like to see what's his face, Aldis, wrestle, or even Adam Pearce if he wrestle. It's just taking a figurehead and having him wrestle, but for like there's no buildup. There's
no payoff.
There's
zero payoff for this. Christopher Daniels he did his last little job when he was with SCU. He was entertaining. It passed. It's over. His tag team partners in TNA. If he wants to go wrestle in TNA and, go back to that smaller pond, fine. But you've already buried the lead. You've spent the last 5 months in a suit with a frumpy belly. Like, I don't take you seriously. Right. You're going to come from behind. You remember like years ago when Randy Orton challenged Edge and beat the crap out of him. And then Christian came out there and he goes, I got to do something. I got to fight. And he goes, no, you're going to get your ass kicked. And we all went, this guy's frail. He can't. He came in the Royal Rumble as just kind of a nostalgia act. That's the way I look at Christopher Daniels now, is that you're kind of a nostalgia piece, and you've only been in this company fighting for about 2 years, full-time wrestler. There's nothing that gives me any period of belief to think that you're going to beat this guy. And again, there's no payoff to it. This is another example of there being too many fish in the pond.
Yeah.
Steve?
So to take it all the way back to talking about Will Hobbs, I was definitely happy to see him win that match. That was definitely, again, a surprise that I was really pleasantly surprised with. But the fact is, does anybody think that he has a snowball's chance in hell of winning that match? No. He's not been built up at all whatsoever. Yes, he just came back from injury. Now granted, the injury that he just came back from was sustained in a match versus Moxley. So if you remember, they, I believe it was for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship that they were defending on Dynamite. And during that match was when Hobbs injured himself and could barely even finish the match.
Do a promo, do a video package about that.
So that's the thing is, on Collision this week, I do have to say they actually ran and completed a video package hyping up Wednesday's Dynamite, which I was, holy shit, what happened? Because they don't do this. They don't build matches. So to see them do that gave me some hope, but they need to follow through. It needs to be a more consistent thing. They need to be blasting the Will Hobbs promo, the Powerhouse Hobbs promo that he cut during that video was fucking great. And quite honestly, probably one of the best promos that the guy has ever cut.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend seeking it out, but you wouldn't know because I don't know if it's on their social media. You know, they just ran it on Collision. You know,
it was smart that he said this to Moxley's wife. I'm going to make John Moxley my bitch. And Renee Paquette was the revolt look on her face. She's just so good. And another thing, slightly off topic. This is why Shivani has no place in the company, because his only good thing was to be able to interview these fucking people, and she does it 10 times better than him. You know, does Shivani live in LA?
No.
Good.
No, he doesn't. But, you know, speaking of Collision and all that, fans are questioning if Chris Jericho should retire after his match on Collision. RingsideNews.com, Chris Jericho's match against Dax Harwood on the January 11th episode of AEW Collision has reignited debate about his future in the ring. Fans flooded social media with criticism, calling the bout disjointed and slow, with one tweeting, "What the fuck did I just watch? Holy fuck." Another fan added, "This is embarrassing. Tony, what are we even doing here, man?" Some took aim at Jericho's longevity, with one tweet reading, "I'll never forgive anyone from the elite for giving Chris Jericho the motivation to wrestle in his 50s. Others mocked Jericho's history of defending poor performances, joking, Jericho will come out and say, I wrestled boring matches on purpose. The backlash even brought up past criticism from NBA fans during AEW programming. One tweet joked, the NBA fan base may need to bully Jericho again. What do you guys think? Are we at the point where Chris should go on a longer Fozzy tour?
I think that that would be the most desirable outcome. I there for a while they were teasing the dissension with Big Bill. I was hoping that we were going to get Big Bill taking out Chris Jericho. We didn't get that. I don't know why, and we're seeing all of these clusterfucks. Dude, this match was not good. Those quoted responses to this match were all things that I was saying in my head while I was watching the match. It was not a good match. And, you know, Dax Harwood is good in the ring, but he could not even save this match. I don't know if they just didn't have good chemistry, their timing was off, whatever the situation was. But dude, especially as a main event match on your show, no, not at all. They could have main evented anything else, and it would have been a better ending to that show. It was not good.
Rob?
That dragon screw.
Oh.
Where Jericho just crumpled. And Dax Harwood kind of did something. He pulled him to the back. I think he was trying to extend his leg to kind of get that tweak out, because you could see the way he was pulling on the leg. It was like watching a masseuse work. He tried to find a way to just, I'm not trying to make a joke here. He was trying to like extend the leg back, because you could see Jericho was screaming in pain there. Dax Harwood is a stocky guy, but there's muscles, there's calf muscles. There, Jericho is just the product of his age, and he has to work that much harder to stay toned for his age, and he's not. Once in a while, when he got made fun of by the NBA, when people watching those NBA games, and then they saw him for the first time after all the years after WWE, he's not in shape to do this. His punches were slow as hell. Dax Harwood was overselling. You know, Jericho punched him in the head, and then Hart was like, "Oh, I guess I got to jump over the barricade now."
it was almost like Michael, like Shawn Michaels level of selling for Hogan. Like it was.
Whoa.
Yeah. And don't even get me started on the finish of that match. By the way, that was fucking dreadful. Fucking dreadful finish.
All right. Well, let's go from a guy, you know, who maybe fans think should retire to if Malachi Black is done with AEW. Julia Hart, speaking with Denise Salcido for Instinct Culture, Julia Hart was asked to comment on the reports regarding Malachi Black finishing up with AEW and how this could affect the House of Black. Julia said, I think we'll be okay, and whatever he decides to do with his career is his business, and I wish him all the best no matter what. He has been such a great rock for me, and I appreciate everything he's ever done with me, but also the rumors aren't confirmed or anything, so I don't know what exactly is going on. Anything could be happening. We don't know. So it's just a matter of whatever happens, and I'm happy for him no matter what happens, and I think House of Black will be okay. Laughs. No matter what happens, I think I'll keep destroying the women's locker room. Laughs. And Brody and Buddy will destroy the men's locker room. Everything will be okay. And I'm happy for everybody no matter what. Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay.
Everything is fine.
Everything will be okay.
Yeah, no.
He gone.
So does he show up at the Rumble? Is this one of the mystery guys?
Yes. If he's out of contract, yes.
Aleister Black returns.
You have him show up at the Rumble as number 13. That needs to happen. Too. That needs to happen. Like, yes.
And they're already setting up babyface spots for them with Buddy Murphy. I mean Matthews. I said Buddy Matthews. I said Matthews.
So do we have Sean Spears come in at 10 then?
Oh God.
And then
no, please no.
13 and
not the chairman, the
please no. Please no. Sean Spears, no. Like but yeah, Malachi Black's gone. Obviously the promos that were cut after the Buddy Matthews match with Will Ospreay, and then also after Brody King won a squash match on Collision, you had Cope. Yeah, Cope.
Fucking hate that.
What was that?
Yeah.
Okay, what was that? What was that? I don't understand.
I don't know. The rated R superstar Cope. Anyway, you had him show up and essentially tease Judgment Day Part 2, I guess, back there talking to Brody King and Julia Hart, saying that he wanted them as part of a stable with him. I don't know.
And that's exactly what I thought too when I saw that. Is what you just said. Judgment. I'm like, are they fucking doing Judgment Day? What is going on?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think that the future is going to be bright for Brody King and Buddy Matthews, both of which are under relatively new contracts. So they're going to be around for a while. The house will cease to exist as we know it, but everyone else in that group will be fine. So I can see why she phrased it the way she did, but she didn't want to feed into any of the speculation. He's gone.
In other words, she doesn't know.
So, but everything's fine. Everything is fine. Everything's fine.
So, would she become a goth cheerleader now? Did she just come out and like, you know?
I think we're gonna find out when it's gonna be Judgment House.
No, they'll call it the Day of Judgment. We are the Day of Judgment. What is that? The Day of Judgment.
Oh fuck.
We were maroon.
Yeah.
Here's our clubhouse.
Got it. All right. Quickly to NXT here. Julia is the new NXT Women's Champion. They also set up that Stephanie is the number one contender for the North American women's title. So that is going to be interesting. Julia, basically within 6 months, comes in and is the NXT champion. A great match with Roxanne. I mean, again, people gave her shit, for signing there, etc. But they're obviously not only elevating her, but they're using the fact that she speaks well enough English to use that blend of English and Japanese, which is working, which is freaking awesome. Steve, what do you think about seeing someone like her get this championship? And boy, man, these women, they are just the division, they're going to have to do a women's show at some point, man. It's crazy.
I mean, so the thing is, you knew this was going to happen. You knew that Julia was going to get that championship at some point. It was just a matter of when. I think that by Julia being there, it does nothing but increase the level of competition. And we've seen it already with the NXT women's roster. They've been loaded for a while, which, quite frankly, them taking the title off of Roxanne, that frees her up to be able to, be a surprise entrant and debut at the Rumble, which I think they will give her the call up. So she'll be on a main roster show after the Rumble. But yeah, I think Julia is so good. She's been good for such a long time. And yeah, it's only a matter of time until she's up on the main roster as well. WWE is just loaded for bear for the next decade with women's talent. It's insane between her, Vicker, and all of the young talent that they have down in NXT. The future,
right. And Rob wants to see more Nia Jax and Naomi. So
yeah, no, I watched this match, and from being Roxy on Ring of Honor to now Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez beat the living crap out of Julia. Technical wrestling prowess was on display in that match. She had counters for every move that Julia got out of. I mean, she did the suicide dives and Northern Light bombs. She gets taken out by the Arrivederci knee, but there was so much more wrestling that was happening on Roxanne Perez's side. There's only one way when you lose a match like that, means you're going up to that next level. She is just so damn amazing in the ring, and she's grown so much. And she went from being this really, little cutesy baby face to being a really well-oiled heel.
Yeah.
And backing it up in the ring, because usually the heels don't necessarily back it up in the ring. She did have the run-in her favor when she got thrown back in the ring early and tried to win with the count out, but it didn't matter. She just really out-wrestled Julia. But I also see that Julia has the rocket on her back because they have a way that they can promote her, and they have an angle which makes her unique and makes her very marketable. So this was a great choice. This was a great choice on both ends.
And we also got Oba Femi becoming the new NXT champion. And again, a great three-way match that, didn't hurt Trick. Continues to make Eddie Thorpe just look like this, massive, dick. But he also was taken out by Oba, and Ava didn't believe it because he fucked her once, and Oba just came out and said, "No, I took him out." It's like it's easier for me to win the match if he can't be a part of it. And Oba is, he's over with the fans, but he still has heel tendencies. They're doing a lot of gray now, which is amazing. And this guy, for a guy who is not the best on the mic, boy, you can tell that they are looking upward for him because he's fucking athletic as hell and is just one hell of a fucking dominant monster. It's just amazing to see how far he's come this young in his career. What do you guys think of him and Ethan Page too? Former champion now, took out Javon Evans and broke his jaw, and they did an amazing promo with Javon Evans talking through his broken jaw about what he's going to do to Ethan Page. So we have a lot of shit going on with these guys.
Eddie Thorpe is what is the guy who sold Oba Femi for me, because he ran in with a chair, gets stripped of the chair, gets launched and thrown into the ring on his own chair that he brought in the first damn place. How does the match end? The chair again. He gets hit by his own chair and it ricochets off freaking Trick Williams. This is such dominance that you're using everybody else as cannon fodder, I guess. incredible. He had ring awareness of all times. So if I'm watching Obafemi, he's got ring awareness. He has eyes in the back of his head. Just a really, really great match, and Trick Williams and Thorpe were just wasted. Even with the trick shot, didn't make a difference.
Yep.
The rock bottom for the middle rope, it looked amazing. Didn't make a damn difference. It was just incredible to watch somebody who completely dominated the ring. Do I think he has great mic skills? No, he doesn't necessarily have to. If you present yourself properly, I mean, rewind the clock. I always talk.
What if an advocate gets his hands on that guy? Holy shit.
One of my favorite things I ever saw was it was Stone Cold versus the entire D-Generation X, where he just got them in traps. He got X-Pac in a net. He just took them out one by one. Didn't say anything the whole night. The whole night he didn't say anything. He just took them out one by one. That's all you need to do. If you could do it and then have one catchphrase, that's it. You're good. It doesn't take much. You get one catchphrase. Catch these hands. That was good. It was good for a while.
Steve,
catch these hands. Strowman did that.
I was going to say, I think Braun Strowman wants his catchphrase back.
Yeah, but that was good for a while, and that was all Braun Strowman needed for a little while. If you can get the two going and have some good storyline behind it, you're good.
Yeah, I think that, Obafemi, you hit the nail on the head, Michaels. If you get a mouthpiece with that guy, then he's a license to print money. He is somebody that can be very special for you in your promotion for a very long time, and you can have him go as the unstoppable babyface that everybody wants to cheer for. You can also make him a diabolical heel. And it's really good that they're going to show just what he's capable of in full with NXT. And Michaels, your namesake, has he's done great things already with the roster down there. And I think that the best is yet to come for Obafemi for sure. He's going to be a player for a long time.
Yeah. All right, really quick, we're going to go over to TNA, and Raven gives Rosemary permission to do a Raven's Clockwork Orange match. This is going to be something else against Masha Slamovich. First off, it was great to see Raven, who was sitting at a bar, and Rosemary's cutting this promo, and then kind of goes over to Raven as he is brought into the conversation, and you're just trying to figure out who this old drunk man is at the bar. And the first instinct, kind of looking at him, is going, "Oh wow, look, it's Jericho."
Oh shit!
Come on, you didn't do him like that, Jesus Christ!
Wow,
Jesus.
But this is the kind of stuff that they're doing to again, up the value of the entertainment in TNA. It is off the chain right now. That match is going to be spectacular. Hendry and Nick Nemeth. The question is Hendry's contract up? It seems like that's what is people are leaning towards. So Hendry probably won't win the title. But we could also see Hendry in the Rumble as well. So TNA has got some good stuff going on. Bringing up these hardcore legends who did some stuff in TNA that was pretty memorable. That's something is again, I think to bring certain fans' attention to the product, it's a great thing. So, I know there's so much wrestling going on that all you guys don't get a chance to see it. Jamie says, "Hope he makes it to the Rumble." We hope he does too, because if you say his name, he appears. So
I want to see him on NXT full time.
Well, there's a good chance that that's where he's headed. I would assume Jordan would go there too if she signs with them. So, that is definitely something to look forward to in the realm of TNA. Okay, as we wrap up here, Rob, what you got going on for your final thoughts, man?
Oh man, give me 1 second, and I will pull it up. I have a date for you guys.
Oh boy,
and
Rob's pulling on something down there.
Oh yeah. You know what? Go to the PP stuff, and I'll be with you in a second.
All right, Steve. All right. Tell us about the PP.
Exactly. First off, thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. The chat was on fire tonight, so thank you for everybody who threw stuff in there. We appreciate each and every single one of you. So thank you for allowing us to do what we love to do. And then also very special thank you to all the brave men and women serving this country, whether you're doing it on lands foreign or domestic. Thank you for doing what you do so that we can do what we love to do as well. And last but not least, repsports.com, reppsports.com. Go there for all your pre-workout, weight loss, general energy needs. Repsports.com. Use promo code Vegas at checkout. Save yourself 15%.
All right, Rob, tell us about your
my date. Saturday, January 18th. Saturday, January 18th at 8 o'clock at the Abbey Ray Studios in 311 South Water Street in Henderson. I will be performing there. On the 22nd, I will be doing Rick's Rolling Smoke. That one starts at 8 o'clock too. That's on a Wednesday. And on the 24th, I am calling it. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but I might be on the Dirty at 12:30. But don't quote me on that one just yet. But that would be I gotta secure that one. I've been sick all weekend, so I did not get a chance to go out there and secure that spot. But I think that one's going to be pretty safe to say, and maybe also New Woo as well earlier in the evening. That will be on a Friday. And that would be either 8 o'clock at New Woo or 12:30. I will let you guys know next weekend concretely if we got that one in the bag. But it looks like I got 4 spots coming up.
All right. Uncle Dave, how do we do this week?
They held back on a lot of what they could do.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Well, that's not a good thing. Apparently, Uncle Dave did not appreciate and did not think that we went all out. So, oh, man. I guess we're going to have to try to do better next week, though.
Vegas light shine bright, bad boy sitting pretty. Michael Steve,
keep in mind, Future Stars of Wrestling here in Las Vegas has a show coming up on January 27th at the FSW Arena. The New Year's resolution, I think it was. They're calling it. But there's going to be a couple WWE ID wrestlers from out of town coming in. So we should see at least, we'll probably see 2 new faces from WWE ID class on the show, as well as Ice Williams. I'm pretty sure he'll be there responding to Danny Limelight. He had some words for him at Reality of Wrestling this past weekend. So, that is what's going on, everybody. We appreciate you all for tuning in this week. Expect us next week, and we'll try to do better. Let's see what Uncle Dave thinks.
It'll be huge. It'll be huge.
There you go, everybody. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you guys next week.
With that, everybody, thank you for hanging out. We'll do it all again next week. Till then, happy wrestling.